So hello everybody, welcome back to another walkthrough. This time I'd like to show you Bellagio. And I think I've always said this in my vlogs, of all the sort of mega resorts on the strip, I don't know, I guess Cosmo's vying for my affections, but this one will always be, well, near as damn it top of the list for me. I know it's not necessarily the poshest on the strip these days, but to me it's just an iconic Vegas property of the modern era. When I first came to Vegas in 1998, it wasn't open. I visited in September and it opened in October 98. I mean, it was all but finished, obviously. And I've stayed here a number of times now. And this beginning, as you walk through here, and I've shown this a lot in my vlogs, you just can't beat this initial foyer area, check-in area. You ever think of Vegas, this ceiling will be one of the images that springs into your head. And actually they've redone this slightly here, the check-in area, with a lot more flowers. And I think it looks fantastic. And they've got a sort of mini conservatory behind the check-in area, which I've not noticed before. Maybe they always have, but I've not noticed it. So before we walk through anything else, let's see the conservatory for summer 2019. And it looks as impressive as ever, even from here. Here we go. That's amazing, isn't it? Absolutely love that. Really, really do. Fabulous. So yeah, the conservatory never gets old. And I know Wynn sort of do their own version of it, but for me, Bellagio will always be the one. I think the best way I can describe Bellagio is I think it's fairly posh, but it's not. I don't know. I'm a fairly down-to-earth sort of guy, right? And I never feel out of place in here. I've always loved the pianist. Always loved the pianist. Just close your eyes, listen to this, and you're in Vegas. Now, funnily enough, they seem to have changed the lights in here since I was last in Bellagio, throughout the whole property. I showed a main one in one of my earlier vlogs, but all of these lights here, both sides, are new. But I've always liked the casino in here. It's been fairly kind to me over the years. I can't say I've ever won massively in here, but it's always been a sort of a good, never terribly unlucky, I guess is the best way you could put it. Oh, and actually, yes, if you remember, they used to have these drapes. They seem to have upgraded those. Now, that may have happened a while back. These are different drapes to how they used to be. So this obviously is the table gaming area. And we'll go round to the guest elevators. Now, I always think this property is very well designed, and one thing I like is that when you go up to your room, you are always checked for a key. And I always think, you know, with all the crime, whatever that goes on everywhere in the world, but I always feel vulnerable if you've got a lot of money in the safe and there's nobody checking keys. But here, I don't think there's ever been a situation where there hasn't been a guy on the door. I guess it's easy for them. There's two guys there, and it's easy for them because the guest elevators are all here. There's nothing like with Caesars; they're all dotted around different towers. But here, it's just a different elevator for each floor. So you got, I think there's 4 elevators depending on what floor you're on. So going towards the pool now. And again, the pool set up here, I have always loved. And it's it never seems to be overly busy. You can always get a lounger. I did do a full walkthrough of it a couple of years ago when we stayed here. But I'll just show you the main pools this time. Here we go.
Thank you.
And Suzanne will be sunning herself, no doubt, now. We have an excessive heat warning today. When isn't it in August? But this is for me a really classy pool area. This is the main pool that we stay at. And the one here on the left, if I remember rightly, is chargeable. Yeah, it is. You can tell by the lounges that are there, which are obviously more luxurious. The Cypress pool. To be honest, I don't think there's any need to upgrade to this pool particularly. Again, you've got another one here. And then there's a further one further down there, which I won't show you now. But basically you have plenty of space, and it's very rarely, regardless of the day of the week, it's very rarely full. So back at the guest elevators. So doing a left as you come out of the lifts. Now the buffet here, I've tried. It's certainly not the best in Vegas. It's sort of passable, and to be honest, I think I would expect slightly better from Bellagio than the buffet that's here. It's certainly not one I would pick in the top, I don't know, 2 or 3. Certainly the best 2 in Vegas are without doubt Bacchanal at Caesars and Wicked Spoon at Cosmo. So if you're coming to Vegas, I would certainly, and you want a buffet, I would certainly pick one of those 2. And the main show here is O, which is a Cirque du Soleil show, obviously. Now it includes a lot of water and what have you. Suzanne and I, if I'm honest, were a little bit disappointed with it. We went through a stage of seeing quite a few Cirque shows. So yeah, and the tickets were really, really expensive. Even for seats towards the back, if I remember. So again, I'm not sure I would pick that Cirque show to come and see. But I've always liked the configuration of the casino for slots. So as you can see, all of these lights have been changed. If I'm not mistaken, I think since my last visit, I don't recall them being like that in April time, but I could be wrong. So you come out here with Caesars on your left and Bally's straight across the street. Just under 3,000 rooms in this property. Now we're in a Fountain View King, and I've put a room tour up of that. I've stayed in a couple of King rooms, so you'll find a couple of videos on YouTube that I've put up with various different views. But we've also stayed at a corner suite here, and whilst the corner suite itself is very, very nice in terms of square footage and how it's appointed, etc., over the King room is better because the window overlooking the fountains is far, far bigger. The corner suites have really small windows looking at the fountains, so I would actually probably go for a King room, King Fountain View room over a corner suite if you have the choice of either. But I would say in terms of rating this property in terms of slot play, It would probably be on the Strip. My favourites, probably Cosmo #1. I like Mandalay Bay. I like Bally's. I think here possibly #2. They've got a great selection of slots. And that's pretty much it. We're now heading sort of back towards the reception area. Yeah, so the cashier's there. And your Life desk is there. So it's not the biggest in terms of square footage of casino space, that's for sure. You can walk around it pretty quickly. What I like about this place, certainly when you compare it to the property we've just been staying in, Caesar's Palace, which is a maze of little pockets of slots and casino action. This is, obviously being a modern resort, has been very well thought out. You know, your elevator is always near the pool. You got your guards checking the key cards all the time. I think the check-in area is great with the conservatory, etc. And it's just totally iconic. So if you're thinking of staying here at Bellagio, I couldn't recommend it enough. I tend to get comps of 4 free nights with no resort fees. I'm Gold M Life with 75 free play and $100 resort credit. So you know you're getting around about that if you're that sort of level. So I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. I'll speak to you again soon, guys. Take care.